Hello, this is Julian Bright with Developing Telecoms. We're here at Mobile World Congress 2025 and we're with Intracom Telecom on their stand at the show, and I'm talking to Ioannis Tenidis, who's a product marketing manager, and Kyriakos Vergos, who's Chief Commercial Officer at Intracom Telecom. John, perhaps we could start with you, and perhaps you could just talk a little bit about some of the technologies that Intracom Telecom is showing here at the show this week.
Thank you very much. It's great to be again one more year in MWC. So many years now, and we always introduce new technologies. This year, our brand says Smart Carrier Grade FWA and point-to-point. So what about it? This year, we're introducing our flagship FWA product at the millimeter wave frequencies. This is now the new trend, the pioneering frequency bands. And what's innovative about our technology? Range and capacity. We can deliver 2 gigabit per subscriber at a range over 8 kilometers, and that at the least possible spectrum.
Okay, can you talk a little bit more perhaps about the fixed wireless access, the point, multi-point, some of the specific technology strengths that Intracom Telecom can show your customers at the show this week?
The product is called Webas G5 Smart BS. It's a host platform for many new technologies that we developed in-house, serving the purpose of performance. For example, multi-user MIMO, hybrid beamforming, massive antenna with beam steering, electronic beam steering. So all that has been developed in-house over the past 2 years, since 2023, and now available for selling, for deployment with a mature product. The brand name, I repeat, is G5 Smart BS.
Okay, thank you. And Kyriakos, perhaps you could just tell us a little bit about some of the commercial applications for these technologies. Are we talking about emerging markets? Are we talking about rural coverage, or are there more use cases, if you like, than purely those ones?
So I think what most stands out, talking about the commercial use and the specific use cases for our technology, what really stands out is that we offer today millimeter wave technologies, both point-to-point and point-to-multipoint, that are aimed at markets where we can be a complement to fiber. Our technologies can compete directly against fiber, where a service provider, where an enterprise requires high capacity fiber connectivity, but for whatever reason cannot do it with fiber, or cannot do it quickly enough or cost effectively enough, then that's exactly where we come in and offer what today is a unique value proposition with licensed millimeter wave technologies, offering multi-gigabit to the home or to the business service, both in rural areas and therefore for more residential use cases, but very much also for enterprises in semi-urban or suburban areas, even in certain high-density urban areas where for whatever reason fiber is not the answer. Those are all the areas where we can come in and offer something that is just as high capacity as fiber, but comes in at a much lower cost to deploy and with a much faster time to market.
And you talk about both public services and enterprise specifically. I mean, do you see enterprise as a particular growth area just at the moment? Is that a key focus for you, or has that always been the case?
Our customers, who are normally service providers, those who provide the broadband connectivity to the enterprise, are right now big customers of ours. That's a very high growth area for us, serving enterprises with a technology that can offer very high capacity connectivity where fiber is just simply not viable for one reason or another.
And sorry, John, going back to you, are there any other sort of technology areas you can point to that we can see here at the show this week that would be of particular interest?
Of course, we always have something more to give to our precious clients. It's the point-to-point E-band technology, the high-frequency transmission, for which we have live demo this year, a 38 gigabit symmetrical radio link at the high frequency of 80 GHz. And what's important about that? We always strive to give, like in the FWA, range and capacity, but also with the minimum possible spectrum resources. And this is after carefully studying the market circumstances. With a more and more 5G rollout, radio resources, spectrum resources are becoming very congested. That means narrower channels. This is what we specialize in: range, capacity, at narrow channels.
Okay, well, thank you. And Kyriakos, perhaps just to wrap up, perhaps you could talk just a little bit about some of those high-frequency bands, the E-band spectrum, which I know is very much coming into play, and that's quite an important focus for Intracom Telecom, I understand.
Absolutely. The issue and challenges of spectrum is something that we must keep a close watch on. In many developing economies and markets, 80 gigahertz spectrum is not readily available quite yet, or it's quite expensive to use. That is now changing, so this is a very exciting time because a lot of regulators around the world are realizing that by dropping the cost of these millimeter wave bands, they are boosting the local economy because you're offering some very smart alternatives to fiber. And so 80 gigs is a big space to watch in developing markets, and so is 28 and 26 gig too.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kyriakos. Great to speak to you. Thank you very much.